Oh, look at that. You replace the cord and look what happens. Oops.
Oh, did they replace it?
They have.
Yeah.
Well, it's back from where it was, unless they just rerouted it, which they shouldn't have. Let me know when we look good, Angela.
I just got the alert.
All right, it is 6:02 p.m. on May 22nd, Almont Heritage Fest planning and volunteer meeting. Well, let's kick it off. Car show, and this is all open discussion, so it's not really formal, guys, just so you know. Car show, Autorama ad and Cruisin' Media spring summer ad submitted. That's really, we just got it out there. Is that correct?
Yep,
Okay.
just FYI.
Okay. We have 10 entries already.
Mhm.
Okay. Wayne knows those. I was at before. Is that more or less than before?
That's more than before.
Okay. All right. So,
Usually they start to kick up around July,
okay.
but
That's what I thought.
Yep.
But I know he's always been good at tracking of the when stuff come in. Entertainment wise, on Friday, we have officially booked Family Tradition Band. We're going to have Waylon Hanlon open. I don't know if you know who that is. Younger kid, does a great job. Does a lot more acoustic country. So he's going to open.
What time is that at?
Do we have times yet?
Is he
I
going to
do.
be
Yeah.
before
he's gonna
their
be
set?
he's
or-
gonna be before Family Tradition.
What time does Family
I
Tradition?
think Family Tradition starts at
I think aren't they 9 to 11 or 8:30 to 11?
they start at 8, and I believe Waylon is gonna start at 6.
Oh,
He's
okay.
gonna play an hour and a half set, and then he'll go. Family Tradition will start right after him.
Okay, cool.
And they
And they work really well together.
they do. When I talked to his mom, as his
Manager.
manager, momager is what she called her. He will probably be hanging around to play with them. I don't know
Okay.
how much of the time frame, but
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Kyle kind of said the same thing.
Sunset Boulevard will be Saturday. That's the same band we had last year. They had a nice huge draw as well. They did a great job. EQS production, is that the same as?
Yep, same sound production as last year.
Nice guy, interesting guy.
And he works with Family Tradition and Sunset Boulevard often. So
Okay. And I don't know if that's under the tent, but staging. I know last year it wasn't your fault. They delivered the wrong amounts.
yep, I'm going through North Branch rental for everything this year.
Okay.
And they have everything that we need,
Okay.
and they know how much we need. So
Okay. Good.
How much? What?
staging we need.
Oh.
Staging.
Actual
Well,
stage?
Yeah. Last year we ordered it correctly, but the other firm didn't drop off the right amount. So.
So poor Andy had to go to North Branch to grab extra staging
And
Yeah,
then,
like an hour and a half.
at the last
before.
second.
and then I was in the chiropractor for about 6 months after.
But no one else knew. Everyone
Right?
else thought it just went off
I
It
know.
was
flawlessly.
Yeah, I
I
ran
think
out.
that was you
I-
trying to put the tent together.
No, that was the stage. I was
No,
lifting
but
that
she
stage.
was assembling the
Yeah,
other
and
Oh,
tent.
that
Yeah,
other
yeah,
tent.
you and
Out in
Wayne.
the Pocket
Yeah.
Park.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
no, that was that lovely stage. All right, good. All right.
Side note, we will need to figure that out again too, where the band's space will be. I had thoughts on that potentially if things are handled by then.
That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
Cornhole tournament, Lions Club, they've already committed to that,
Mhm.
right? Location events. Now that social district is approved, can we make sure we call that the entertainment tent?
Yes, it's called the entertainment tent in all of my ads.
Thank you.
All right, thank
But
you.
yes.
We're looking at the entertainment tent on East St. Clair, closer towards Van Dyke. We have a large power main that's there. And so what happens, that's where it was supposed to be last year. Won't go into the details of why that occurred, but when we moved it, we had to get a large generator that cost, a fair amount of money even with the discount. So there is a large power supply right there that we could use to have the bands. And we could still satisfy everything we need for space. And now we can incorporate the pocket park with that as well. The reason why we're saying make sure it's staying the entertainment tent, because now it's gonna be multi-purpose, where last year was just beer and the bands.
Correct.
It's going to be now more integrated into Saturday as far as for the cornhole tournament, maybe registrations,
Awards.
award
definitely.
ceremony is going to be done there. So that way
The races.
the races will be out of there. It will have East St. Clair shut down in that area, but we'll get to Holly's 10K, 5K, but it's going to be the central location for everything. We thought it'd be a good spot, depending on how we're doing the alcohol consumption, but at least people then could grab food from there, go sit in there while we're doing presentations with the auto show. Are you guys here you're here for the auto show. You guys are what? Royal Rubes. Okay. 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 We'll talk through that. So for the car show, guys, that would be instead of where we had that tent offset, now this way that'll be there. We'll be able to set it up in the morning. We'll have a bigger area. God forbid we have some bad weather. Now we've got a large area for things to occur.
We're gonna talk to the nice old lady that lives in the little house behind the bakery between there.
We are.
That'll be me.
Yeah, that'll be Angela.
Mrs. Kincaid's a nice woman.
I think it was last
Yeah, she
year,
is so
she
sweet.
called me, and she was complaining about the generators running, and now if we move the entertainment center there, like in front of her place, then she's
We also have a backup location we're kind of working on as well.
Correct.
So
Correct.
a
if
2-day vacation for her.
Yeah.
Right.
She's,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
And in the past, I think gift card from Finkers has gone over well with her.
Correct. We also don't enforce the no parking in the church parking lot overnight rule for her either. So, I mean, there is a little give and take with everything, but Angela is going to talk to her. We're going to work through that.
Yeah,
But-
she wasn't really upset last year, but, she did kind of express her. She says, I listen to that generator all day Friday, all day Saturday. I said, ma'am, it's out of our control. It's just something that,
Right.
we need to do, and, I want to
But-
get out of here, so.
what? I guess I'm confused. What generator?
Was that last year or the year before we had
Must've
food
been 2
trucks?
years.
Yeah, last year was
Yeah, but the
just
food trucks
food
were-
trucks on. It was on Saturday, but
Yeah.
they were only from like
So,
what
a short period of time.
9 to
Maybe.
4.
Maybe you're thinking of
Right.
even the year
Yeah,
before when it
Yeah.
was.
She-
right there
all she
still.
said, She heard was generators running all day, and, a little bit of the music, but, she wasn't happy. I mean, it's just one person, but I guess we gotta kind of make her happy too.
Well, we're gonna talk to her. I mean, now that social districts approve, we didn't want to go down that path until we know that. And again, there could potentially be another location. It still works out. The hard part is that one we're gonna have to work on power situation. It is what it is, but so we're driving towards that. I'm not saying this could be the final answer, but it does become central to everything as far as for everything we're trying to do. If this other location works, it's still central, just a little bit in another direction.
I don't think I-
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you guys want to talk about we are talking about the entertainment tent. You want to play in the entertainment tent?
Yeah, like we've done for the last 3 years,
Okay.
but I want to secure more open time. So
Okay.
Not getting in the way of anybody coming on stage. Something that we can actually take command of the stage long enough to actually solicit funds.
So the hard part with the stage, because we're using a production company like we ran into last year, they have all their equipment there. So we can't have anybody up there because they're going to be doing all their equipment, and that will all be set up from Friday on. So not to say we can't have you play somewhere in that area, but it really couldn't be the stage because of how much equipment's already up there for production.
So they're gonna set up Friday, and that same setup will be Saturday as well.
it stays
The
there.
same
We're
production.
looking for that Saturday.
Yeah.
1 o'clock at the museum. We usually have done 4 o'clock at the entertainment.
Okay.
What time is if you're doing the trophy pass out for the car show, what time is that usually?
That'll be about 4 o'clock, right?
Three or
Oh, 3
four.
o'clock.
Yeah, 3.
3 o'clock.
I mean, you could
Yeah.
do something maybe after that, but it would just wouldn't be on the stage before.
Well,
How long do you guys
We need
usually
an
play?
hour.
Oh.
An hour.
So the big thing is we can talk to
EQS,
EQS production.
yep.
So I think last year they just didn't know what was going on, but let's talk with them.
yeah,
I mean,
Well,
given you-
Dragon Tradition Band showed up really early last year.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to jump big time.
Yeah.
I can talk to EQS, and then this year it's going to be Sunset Boulevard on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we can
It's a different band Saturday.
Sort
this
it.
year.
Yeah.
out so that
Yeah, we don't have a problem supporting it. It's just a
yeah,
matter of
just
working
figure out a
through
way
it.
to work around.
Yeah, we need an hour. Around 4 o'clock would be ideal, but if we have to move around a bit, we're pretty flexible.
I mean, I think the best option, the most ideal thing for you would be to get as many people, it'd be maybe right after the awards.
Yeah, I
And then that way it doesn't get too close to when Sunset Boulevard is coming to set up.
What, 7 or 8?
8, but they will probably be there. What do they usually show,
Yeah.
like 2.5 hours
Yeah, I
ahead of
don't
time?
Yeah.
So if you did it from like right when we finished the awards, maybe around like 4 to like 5, that would maybe.
Productions, and we can find that out. Production usually gets there.
Production will be there really early.
Yeah.
Well, no, production will be there on Friday, but they'll come.
They still test.
They still test. I know they still test
Yeah,
everything,
because they were there.
but
Correct.
this year's gonna be, if we can be on East St. Clair, it's gonna be a little less complex because they won't have to deal with the generators and all of that. That was part of the problem last year, is the generator died and they had to reset a bunch of stuff.
And that's why we really don't want to go with the generator. The power's nice and clean. Not that the other generator was bad.
No, it
but
was great.
No.
It just,
it just, adds a lot more
Yeah.
complexity to it. But so you're looking for an hour. She'll make notes on that and then talk with
I
them.
know.
And only on Saturday.
Only Saturday.
Only Saturday. No, Friday.
Now, Jim, I think you were asking, was that for the Rubes? You wanted something set up by the historical place Saturday for the show?
When we set, last year when we set up, we had a 10 by 20 tent that we set up across Mill Street in front of the museum on the sidewalk. All right, what I would prefer is we set that up on the street. We got a fire hydrant right out in front of the museum, and I'm sitting there looking at a couple of cars sitting in front of the hydrant. I was really leery.
So we're working with fire department this year on it. Straight up as long as we keep it open up the middle, we're going to work with them with a route around town. They didn't seem to be too concerned about fire hydrants, but we could look and talk to them. So you want to put it right there,
Right in front of the museum.
right in front of the
Right
museum.
in front of the museum, on the road.
Maybe over towards the photography studio a little bit. But we'd like to keep the fire hydrant open.
Okay.
Probably that aisleway, but then have, no cars in front. We played to the tailgate of a pickup last year.
Yeah, it would serve
No.
us,
Mm.
because we like to play at 1 o'clock, but also it would improve visibility to the museum. Okay, because we have all these vehicles in front of the museum. We had a photographer last year that was there, and nobody saw him because he was off in the back.
Where'd you have them in the back?
Alongside the museum, actually, behind the vehicles that were parked out front. So we'd like, if we have them again, we'd like to be able to bring them up front where we would be playing.
would you be open to moving it across Stone or Mill Street?
We closed the street down, which wasn't
So we're
expected.
closing the street
It's
down.
not just about us, it's about opening and creating visibility to the museum too.
Right, but what if we put you? Here's the thing: anything that goes on Van Dyke, we got to figure out how to park 500 cars. All right, so if we're losing 4 cars, it doesn't sound like much, but it's still a lot of real estate with that, right? What we got to do is try to figure out how that works best with everything. What if we put you So you're still visible, right? And we're talking about closing Mill Street this year and having the vendors going down that direction, so there'll be people milling around. What if we made you the beginning of Mill Street, and then your stuff would be there, the vendors after that, so that way you're gonna get flow of traffic of people walking through, but it won't be for cars.
What would be planned to the tailgates and cars again?
Um,
On Main Street?
it would be,
That's what we did last year.
yeah.
That's exactly what we did last year, and we didn't have any. I don't know how that would improve with the food vendors.
Not food vendors, the craft and
yeah,
the
craft
vendors. So the foods this year are gonna be handled by the restaurants.
Fine, all right.
Yeah, so the restaurants are doing all
Well,
that.
what you're describing is a scenario we had exactly last year. It really wasn't the ideal for us or the museum. There wasn't a lot of visibility. It was just a lot of black.
Okay.
But if you were up higher, like on a small stage,
You know, I don't know, maybe we didn't plan on a stage, you know, we want to try to simplify the whole thing. And we really, again, only need an hour for that performance. You know, and the rest of the time it would be dedicated for the museum to sell T-shirts and whatever they wish to do. Our goal is just to support the museum at the end of the day, but we have a unique situation too.
Right.
The old Royal Rubes, I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but they were a band that Elmont had what, in the 30s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It has a bunch of businessmen in town, so it's kind of part of Elmont's heritage.
Right.
Mhm.
Just-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, we don't,
you
we're
gotta
not,
keep those elements in the festival.
right, we do. It's just,
Yeah, maybe just think about where we have things and just see if there's other options too, just because, If we-
we'll explore
yeah.
other avenues, but we'd like to keep the museum visible as much as possible. And we do 2 performances, like, this would be our 4th year doing it, so we'd like to
Okay.
make a presence in entertainment.
When we're going through and mapping everything out, it's good to keep all of that in mind. That way, Wayne is our, oh, go ahead.
How would we know what we have to work with?
well, that's,
Jim's my best friend.
Okay.
yeah, so you only need a spot.
my best friend.
Mhm.
So you only need a spot of 10 by 20, is that what you're saying?
A little bit wider than 10 feet because our drums actually protrude behind it was one of those 10 by 10 pop-up tent canopies that we had last year. The entire band, except for the drummers, were more or less able to fit underneath of it. But, you know.
what time are you playing at?
One-
What time would you
one.
be
We've
in?
been playing at 1 and 4. We like to sort of stick to that schedule if there's all, you know.
And you have people selling shirts and stuff, or
The museum did have, we did do that.
And
is that
books, right?
before,
And books.
that was before you guys played or after you played under the tent?
Before, during, after.
Okay.
It was really, you know.
Okay. I remember the one when you guys, and I think it was in 2022, you had a tent on the street. It wasn't in front of that. I just remember that.
Well, we played
Yeah.
behind the museum.
Yeah,
in
that
the
year.
past, You
Mhm.
know, and we didn't have any visibility there.
Yeah.
So we've been exploring and growing with the idea. for a
Yeah.
while, so.
So last year was the first year we were on Van Dyke. So
Right.
before that, you were behind the museum, correct?
Correct, on that lawn that exists directly behind.
Okay.
Playing the Strokes.
And anybody that would walk in and out.
And I think something we could do that would help, which I wasn't aware that you guys played before. I don't know if it was on our schedule, but we can have it announced too during the car show that the Royal Rubes will be playing.
We were on the schedule last year.
Okay,
And
but
I
I
think
don't,
he did announce it and he turned the speaker
Yes,
off.
Did he?
your-
Oh, okay.
Your announcer was awesome.
Okay.
He turned off the PA to the south. end.
okay,
Okay, so we could play, you know.
okay.
And there's those 2 things, but speaking of Rubes, and I hate to change the subject really, but if you have any interest in the Rubes playing the Star Spangled Banner, we're willing to do that. Just give me
Talk to my friend.
okay, fine.
You are playing the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see?
So this time you get to practice ahead of time.
Yeah.
The night before.
All right. Make notes of that just as we're doing the mapping.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. All right, we'll work with you guys. We just gotta,
Oh, I appreciate it.
we've gotta figure out how to
All the
Move
money
this
in return
together.
goes directly to the museum.
Right.
So we went from just under 400 the previous year to $29 last year. We resolved all that shopping around.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you mentioned a photo booth, or what other things are you having there so we know logistically wise what you're doing?
So we did the photo booth last year. That is on my agenda farther down with the
Right.
question mark if we're gonna do it this year, so.
Right.
Did that generate revenue or?
I don't think, did you guys generate any revenue from the photo booth?
About $30.
Okay, so no.
So
Did-
it's, so it's probably not worth it. Because what did we pay for that?
400 or 500.
Yeah. Okay.
Did
So-
we,
Maybe let's brainstorm a better idea.
did we have a balloon animal person last year? It was, did they, were they popular?
I heard I will be honest, I did not make it down to the kids stuff past
It's,
setup.
that's always popular.
But I heard that the face painter and the balloon artist were like the most popular things.
So what if we paid for the balloon artist and any donations or tips that they give, because it's usually free. If it's set up under a tent with you guys, you got those proceeds. I'm pretty sure you would make some money from that. If you're able to do something like that. With
Kid
kids.
area.
Are we still gonna have a kids area? Okay.
I think we have to. I think people would flip out if we didn't.
I'll
honestly.
say the one complaint I got from last year was they wanted, well,
More?
not one complaint, but one of the ones I heard most frequently is they wanted more kids stuff. So we're gonna logistically have to figure out where to put it, but
We had a table set up in front of the north display window, selling the M53 shirts inside the museum. And we had a lot of traffic, we just didn't get a lot of sales. We set up the books that we've got available, the pamphlets, the other.
can I tell you one
Yes,
one
so-
easy thing that would make money, I think? Water.
Yeah. Sell bottled
Yes,
water.
Bottled water.
Bottled water, because they do not want to leave their cars.
Correct.
And
Well, I have a really big cooler.
yeah,
There you
and
go.
I know your son, so he'll sell water for you. Tell him I signed him up.
Water, yeah, the water would go like, I'll be honest, like hotcakes, because with the growth of it, and again, knock on wood, it's a nice warm day. There's only so many places they can go, and you're right. They don't want to leave the
They don't
cars.
want to
There's
leave.
people
They don't
milling
want to go
around.
far, and you can walk around and sell water where you can't walk
Correct.
around and sell like food.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. And I don't know how mobile you guys are, but I mean, if you got some kids that could help or whatever, slinging T-shirts, have them walk through the crowd too. You know,
You're assuming I have young bodies.
I'm assuming you have a son who coaches track who
Right.
could wrangle people in.
yeah,
Okay, free bottle of water, free shirt, there you go. It's what we got as kids.
yep, yep. $22 bottle of water and you get a free shirt.
Just tell him not to watch this meeting.
You could even get somebody, make labels.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a great
So-
idea.
Heritage Festival water, raw root water.
But so basically, in the tent would be the band. If we do something else with it, and you're gonna have some display stuff out there, or shirts to sell. Okay.
In front of the museum.
Ideally, would have been like in front of the museum, because the problem is the drummers don't fit under the tent. But if they're behind us and we're like in front of the museum there, at least they're getting some shade too. They're not sitting in the sun like they were the last couple of years.
All right.
Because when we get set up, it's probably at least a 10 by 20 space, maybe a little bit larger.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Andrew, if I may, last time we were here, me and you had talked about that briefly. I tried to get with you the other night, kind of showing a little visit. You had talked about, now I'm assuming that's Mill Street that runs right next to the museum. Okay. You had talked about maybe setting them in the mouth, but moving them back a little bit so they could have just a little bit of seating area, standing area, something for people who want to sit and listen for that hour.
Well, yeah. Originally, it was just for space constraints, basically we'd give you as much space past that sidewalk. And then if you need 10 to 20 plus sitting area, we can open that up and then have the vendors after that. Would you be playing to the backs of cars? Of course you would, but that should be opening up with some more things that are going on. And ideally, that was original thought process with that, right?
We'd like to avoid it, but,
No, I know. Well, let us, as we're planning through here with, again, because of the size and what we're going to probably have to deal with, we got to kind of be interesting. And again, we got to make sure the center is fully open for the fire department. We did get a talking to on that. We moved the tent. That's why too bad. I was almost like, well, too bad we can't just have your tent there. And then
Yeah.
if you're only out there for so long, we move it in. But in my head, I'm trying to think through ideas of what to do. We're going to work through it. We'll figure out something, try to do some sort of compromise. And it might be where you want it, but we'll work through something.
It might take up 3 or 4 spots. And if we're in the car, where the cars are parking, if we put the tent there, the drummers can be behind us, and now there's room for people to walk where there really wasn't before.
Would you be I'm only asking this. Would you be opposed to be where you're going to be playing at 4:00 by that tent area? If we have that shut down, I mean, that is going to be center mass of everybody milling around right by the pocket park. I know it's not in front of the where you're looking at, but you're going to have more access to people there, just kind of
Playing
sitting
at
around.
1 and 4 in
Correct.
the tent.
Either in the tent or by the, if we work out something by the pocket park in that area, I'm only asking, would that be
I will
open?
say that I don't know exactly, because I don't know the particulars of how you have the layout worked out, but I would say this, I would rather play one productive set in front of a lot of people and get, obviously you've got garnered donations for the museum, rather than 2 minor.
I'm only thinking this
If you're
way.
asking me which one I
Yeah.
prefer, I'd rather take the better of the 2, rather one good one. rather than 2.
I'm only thinking if you want to play in front of people and capture their attention, still on the main street, a lot of people are just walking around, so they're not going to just sit there per se, right? But if they're in the pocket park, our pocket park last year was packed with people the whole time, like packed. And now that area will be locked down for the tent.
From the group's perspective, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, there's already seating
That would
underneath
be-
there
that
as
would
well.
be not a problem,
Right.
unless there's a problem with the DJ having to shut music down for
Eh.
everything.
Oh, he works for us, so.
Yeah, he works right. At that point in time, as long as you don't mind if we have to do some announcing over it, or maybe we could time that correctly.
Even if it's the same guy.
It's the same
that-
guy.
He would
Same
be
guy,
great,
yeah.
honestly, he'd be great promotionally for us to win that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think visibility wise to sell things, to do
Right.
things. Is
Being in
that
the center.
correct? All right, let's.
Just make-
We'll work through something.
I just want to let our concern.
Right.
to the board, so.
Yeah. no,
Thank
that's fine.
you.
Absolutely. And on that same note, Jim and I have talked through some awesome ideas he's had for Heritage Festival that we're gonna implement this year with, like, he has pictures of all 4 corners from a long time ago. My vision is to print them on banners and have them staked at all 4 corners with, like, Heritage Festival and the date with the old photographs of how the 4 corners worked or looked. And he also had a good idea. He has photographs of all the buildings downtown that he can make into, like, plaques, and the businesses can choose if they want to purchase them or not, and they can display them during Heritage Fest as well. So cute.
That's
I
a good
know.
idea.
I gave Trish a 1920s photograph of the inside of her store when it was a barber shop.
Oh wow.
Got one that a really good shot of Sherry's Barber Shop, again in the 1920s, where on the left side of it you can see just at the edge of the Ford garage and the gas pump that used to be there. probably still down for all those cement. So don't go digging in front of them. Just to the north of, or the south of Sharon.
I think my grandpa worked at that 14.
Yeah, probably.
I remember your place, but it was a barber shop, Burke's Barber Shop, and he sold Philco TVs.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You remember that, don't you?
That would be kind of a cute idea, is to take all these pictures and display them in our windows.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
After Harold.
If the businesses wanted to purchase them, or if, you know, the DD I mean, if the DDA wanted to purchase them, or if we make the businesses purchase them and they display them that weekend while people are walking around, they can embrace the heritage.
I think it's cute
Good idea.
for the businesses to purchase their plaques.
I think it's, yeah, that's.
Well, and then they could keep them and display them in their
I
business too.
also
Right.
think that that could be a good fundraising opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I figured, the proceeds would go to them. I figured that was the whole point, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like it.
All right, let's move on to registration. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just taking a deep breath for that one, that's all. It's contentious.
So-
This is something that's gonna have to be
Correct.
worked out when we have our MAP meeting, because
Correct.
Well, let's just not even talk.
Yeah, we're gonna table that one. Only for the person that's doing this is in the middle of a lot of stuff, and getting with
We
him
need to
right
sit
now
down
is
with
tough.
him.
So
Yeah.
the question is where we do car show registration. That has been up in the air. Now that we know where we can do the entertainment tent, that will help. But let's that and line up. Let's table both of those. Only because
and vendors too, because
It hinges on.
they all kind of go.
they all go hand in hand in hand. Yeah. But we did talk about it because of the amount of success, space, people, everything with vendors. We are going to be under, we did update our vendor pricing, right? We got to have to kind of limit things and get some quality over quantity, if you know what I mean. We want, if we're going to have vendors, we want some nice vendors with some decent stuff, because we just aren't going to have the space to have like what we had last year. We
Maxed
shut
out
down.
last year.
We maxed out last year. We had a whole side street done, and that side street's gonna have to be cars. So we're gonna do quantity over quality, quality over
Yeah,
quantity.
that's what you said
That was a
backwards.
Vendors, food wise, still that is the we're kicking all that really back to the restaurants. We might have a couple odds and end food trucks for like fair food, those type of things,
Yep,
right?
I booked a fair food truck that does like cotton candy. What else? Popcorn, just random stuff. I have a tentative meeting scheduled with the restaurant owners, hopefully all of them, next Monday at,
Memorial Day?
no, Monday after that
Okay.
at 3 p.m. Because a few businesses are closed on Mondays. The rest are, Craig, the one who's not closed, said anywhere between 2 and 4 would work best for him. I think it's going to work. So we might be able to get everyone in the room together and coordinate and figure it out. But
That will be a discussion, not just on that, but also on the beer tent.
correct.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I
So-
think we should do food first and then keep the bar owners after and figure that out. But
Sure.
bless you.
Maybe. Okay, so
So that took care of
really
2 of your items.
correct. And again, the approval of social district just occurred. They just approved the first restaurant last night. That was Mikey's. Still needs to go to the state, but we're not anticipating an issue. They have nothing against their liquor license. So we should hopefully have that back soon. Once the second business gets approved, we need both of them. We need 2 supporting businesses, then we're free to move forward. So hopefully all that, knock on wood, will be wrapped up here in the next 30 days. What I understand is that moves pretty quick after the first process, right?
It's supposed to be a couple weeks,
Yeah.
a few weeks.
All right, so that is a positive sign. Right now, there's still a lot of work in motion with everything. Side by side? You want to talk about that now, or talk that during the meeting? So last year we auctioned off the golf cart, correct? We have been kicking around going to the next level. Actually, I think we all agreed to do a side by side, correct?
I wasn't
Holly
here,
wasn't
Talked
here.
about
you
it,
weren't.
I was
but
not here.
We
Holly
didn't-
said she didn't want a cheap.
Right. She didn't want to cheat,
Yeah, the
right?
last meeting.
So I got some quotes from Ray C's on one unit. We could buy it for about 10.5. It's a Kawasaki Mule, 4-wheel drive, everything. I just have not had the opportunity to reach out to the couple local ones. The hard part is I looked on their websites, even sticker prices are quite a bit more. So I don't know if we can get it down to that figure, but we thought of if we could stay right around 10 grand and sell 1,000 tickets at $20, we could at least make maybe 9,500, 9,000 a profit, close to 10 grand off of it. The big thing is that something with everything going on right now and the complexity with entering social district, is this something we really, really want to tackle this year?
How would it?
Let me put it this way. Andy and I want a commitment from everyone else to sell raffle tickets
Randy,
because
help.
I'm not doing it every week by myself.
Yeah, we're
Sorry, I
gonna.
wasn't by
Last year was
myself. That
rough.
was me.
Last year was rough.
Right.
We need commitment
Going
from
to-
everybody.
And my thought is,
Yeah.
if we're all taking turns and on the Sign Up Genius and committing to going to Jeep night, cruise night, bike nights, when you're there, you can be selling tickets. You should be pushing tickets. But that's only if everyone's going to actually do that. Last time I looked at it, no one really signed up, I don't think, other than Ashland. But I am not going to be the one busting my butt to sell 1,000 tickets.
And
this year.
honestly, last year, Holly and I sold a ton during Heritage Festival, but there was so much other stuff to do that it was like, it was great that we sold a bunch, but we didn't leave Four Corners.
I did not
one
get to
time.
experience Heritage Festival at all last
Mhm.
year. So-
Ideally, we want the vast majority, other than maybe a couple stragglers, sold.
And that was the point of starting much earlier too. But at this point, like, we're creeping up on June. If we're going to do it, we need to do it now.
Correct.
How
So,
many tickets did we sell last year?
It
Is
was
it-
shy of 1,000, but it
maybe
wasn't.
it was 900.
Yeah.
Was it?
I don't remember
Okay.
exactly now.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, it was still a fair amount, but you gotta remember,
Right.
of that 900, about half of those
Were
got
sold that day.
that day.
What, how much are we selling the ticket? We're still selling for $20.
$20.
Okay.
$20 is an easy one to do. You can't go too crazy with it. If you go crazy with the
Mhm.
dollars, then you got to limit tickets or have
Yeah.
a bigger unit, right? So the one that I picked out is a 2-seat Kawasaki Mule. It's got a dump bed. It's 4-wheel drive. It's fuel injected, alloy wheels, stuff like that. It's a nice unit. I forgot to bring pictures. I sent them out before. Didn't I send them before? It's black. If not, I can get them out to everybody. I know they didn't excite you. So,
No, but it's not something I care about either. So I'm like, I don't have an opinion.
it's a
on
2-seat
side-by-sides.
unit, you know what I mean? But it's something around here that we thought, or I thought, even for my property, it's a great thing for people to have around here just to kick around their property. I mean, it's better than a 4-wheeler only because it's got a dump bed on it. So what we need to figure out is, with everything going on, is this something we want or feel that we really can tackle? Last year, and I'll champion them, the vast majority of tickets were sold by these two at those
That one.
events. That's daunting with everything. So
It was because
It's a lot of work.
there was,
And my husband
yeah,
lugged it around from event to event for
Right.
us. So
Thank
and,
God
and the
for
difference
that.
with we did the side by side, we're going to pay for it up front, not a big deal. I can get it from where whatever dealer we get it from. The other thing is we're going to have to figure out where do we store it, how do we get it to events. So there is complexity to that. Matt was willing to do it because it was his unit till we bought it. With this one, we'd have to have it somewhere.
Is the Lion, are we considering teaming up with the Lions Club to sell the tickets and splitting the profit this year? Because I think that if we're talking about just us doing it, all of us should be committing more. And I plan on doing, probably, if we're splitting up these events during the summertime, each of us should be doing at least 2 to 3 nights a month. And then on top of our board meeting, if we're selling these, it is just us, and there's at least one board member who we can count out. That means I mean, it's gonna be a lot on all of us, and then on top of the other duties that we're gonna be taking on. So if we have the Lions Club helping us out, then I think that it would be not, I'm not saying that's not doable, because we did it in a month. You two at least did it in a month, but it's gonna
I don't
be
wanna
a
do that
lot
again.
of,
I will say, I think
long
that is
summer.
not a terrible idea, and I don't mind splitting with them. And I said this to Andy earlier when we discussed this. Eric Glosser probably sold the second most
Yep.
tickets
Yeah,
next to
he
me.
sure
does a lot of
He
people.
did
And
a
I
fantastic
think
job.
that we could ask if they could transport it for us as well.
Where would they
which be
keep it at?
helpful.
Do they have a garage there?
I don't know. Do
No.
they have
No.
something at
I can't
the?
remember.
Don't they have
remember.
a
Pay
big-
attention.
What are they gonna park it in the middle of their banquet center?
I mean,
If they
I
get
didn't
through the
say
doors.
that. I
No.
did not
So-
say that.
so
I was
this-
thinking it, but I didn't say it.
This one's the nice part of this one, the size of this one is smaller. Like it's kind of the size of a golf cart, so it's not a big side by side like what I've got.
Can we
So-
park it in your conference room?
Mine?
Yeah.
I don't have a
Get it in
double
there.
door. I can't get it in there. Maybe in DBW, would they allow it?
if they
I'm
have one.
telling you, they have no
Yeah, I don't think they have
space at all, which
No.
is why they have to build a new garage. But
Okay.
I can.
Why
I
don't-
mean, now that it's, I can ask.
so
can
our,
ask.
our board would have to approve this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
So
should be
let's
a
table
board
this to-
discussion.
No, I know, but I want to. This group who's
I
going to
know.
be partly doing it and it's Heritage Fest. If everybody's like, I ain't doing it, I don't got time, I don't know if it's worth the headache, then why talk about it? If everybody thinks it's of value,
I think it's of value, in my opinion, to do the raffle, which is, I mean, that saved us last year. Let's be perfectly
Yeah.
honest.
Yep. And I think it's a value, and I think it's a great
And I
idea
think it's
to bring on
exciting,
the Lions.
And I think that would help the Lions, and I'm not opposed to that. Especially like we can make it a effort for effort. Like I can easily keep track of Lions have sold this many tickets, we have sold this many tickets, and that's how we split the profit. If that's how we want to roll, to
Yep.
make sure it's effort based.
That's a great idea too.
I'm not opposed
they
to
can
that.
they can get more. They can get more out of it if. Okay.
Right. The
Okay.
more effort they put in, the more they
The
get
more
out of it.
tickets they sell, yeah.
Right.
I'll talk to Eric. I'll be talking to him. Actually, he comes back in town. I think today. I got to talk to him. On
Well,
some
and
other
we'll talk about it at the better
Yeah.
board meeting.
Okay.
We'll add that.
Store it at your house?
What?
The thing, you have a lot of.
Whatever we raffle off.
You just, yeah, when we raffle off, can I just put it in your barn or something?
stuff.
Do you know that his barn is full of animals?
I know
Right.
that is.
You're over my house.
Yeah, put it by the goats.
I
The
have
goats
to.
will climb on it.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
they will.
You know what? I had to cover my side by side with moving blankets because the goats use it as a perch.
They're so
I'm not joking.
cute.
Yeah, they kept eating Angela's hair.
They,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
so sweet.
Yeah.
So I am actually building them a whole new goat area just to get room back in my barn. I would not put it in there. Sorry. All right.
I can ask
All
Brian.
right.
Oh Lord. I don't know. All right. What else do we have? That was the end of that.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
more
oh,
on
no,
the
I'm
back.
sorry, there's
No,
more.
Whole other side.
Yep.
Jeez,
That's why I
Pete's.
said
It has
let's
grown.
move along.
Sponsorships, new forms completed for it. They're
Yes.
there. It'd
Yeah.
be
they're
helpful
online.
with you guys, anybody in the community, if you could reach out for sponsors for it. Just to give you an idea, just to put on the entertainment tent with all the bands and everything cost us about 17 grand. Right? So
No.
more was last year, right? More. Let's call it 20. So it costs a fair amount to have that. Now, us as a DDA, we don't necessarily have to turn a profit, but we also don't want to lose money at the same time. So sponsorships is key into help offsetting a lot of those costs with everything. So
And whatever profit we do make just goes back into town.
correct.
So-
Do you want to print off whatever sponsors we had last year? We can divvy up like
Yes.
who to go to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, moving on. 5K, 10K fun run. Holly.
So
He's-
I had this brilliant idea the other day that why would we not base the races out of right downtown? So I I had to make maps anyways for the 10K, the mile, fun run for the kids. So I tentatively made a map. If anyone would please like to look at it, I didn't print extra copies. I wasn't thinking ahead. If y'all will come look at this later and tell me your thoughts. So it bases off downtown, like goes up Bristol maybe. I don't know the name of that road. I don't down Hamilton, then this is the 10K. Up Kidder, across, Lantern, down, or is that one called Sir? I don't know. Anywho, oh, that's the 5K. But anyways, if y'all could just look at them and give me your thoughts later.
Basically with this
I'm
one here,
directionally
for
challenged.
what she showed me before, yeah, that's up through Lantern. So this would require more of township, and we'd have to make sure township is okay with.
Wouldn't it just be the police, really? And it's
It would be
we
the police,
don't have to
but
shut down the roads.
No,
like
I know, but we're gonna need more, if they're running up Almont Road, which is a 55, Glover, it's a 55. Tub Spring is a 55, but it's dirt. That's not that big of a deal. We're gonna have to make sure that we,
well, right, and that's why
Work
you know
through
we're
some.
a little more prepared this year. So.
yeah, the
Instead of
five,
me and Eric pulling the barricades, and Andy was there too.
And I
right,
need
What day is
like
your, what day are the runs?
that's
it will
on
be on
Sunday.
Sunday, the Sunday of Heritage
Yeah.
Festival weekend. Yep.
Yeah.
You'll have everybody go by then, because you'll have Van Dyke shut down for.
Van Dyke, yeah, Van
Van
Dyke
Dyke's
will just
only
be
shut-
Saturday.
Yep, Van Dyke is only shut down
Yeah.
for
So
8 hours.
So last year's 5K started at the fire department, ended at the fire department, ran through the school, down Kidder, through the subdivision. So a little bit easier because, and most of it was
Back roads.
back roads and sidewalks.
Yeah.
So this one here, what she's proposing, which isn't bad, it just a
Then
little
we
bit
have
more logistically
the tent to be under and run things from, and
correct.
Do this like awards.
Mhm.
and-
Right.
so
Yeah, that is the benefit of the tent. That tent will still be up through that day.
Yeah.
Why are we
Um,
taking the tent down?
comes down Sunday night or
Sunday
It'll have to
night.
be Sunday
It'll
night
have to
or
be Sunday
Monday
night this
morning.
time.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to
Okay.
request the road, that East St. Clair be closed.
Because
Friday
we just,
through-
are we using the same company as last year? Because they took their sweet time to get that down.
Nope,
No.
we're using
Okay.
North Branch again.
Okay.
And they're pretty good to work with.
And the
with-
only reason I didn't use North Branch last year, just to clarify, is because he was very concerned about us not knowing. Because I told him East St. Clair originally, and I said, but it might move, and he said, I cannot book you until you have a solid location, so I know what I'm
Okay.
getting into.
Correct.
So,
Because they do come survey out there for
Mhm.
putting in the pounding in stakes and stuff. All right, Kid Zone, Bound House, Petting Zoo, Balloon Art, Face Painter, Photo Booth.
photo booth is the only one I wasn't sure if we wanted to do again. It did not. I don't think it got much traction last year.
but it was all the way down by.
But it
the-
was in a
Historical
different
Society,
location.
right?
It was off to the side.
Just to throw out there, we do have a photographer now in town. Might want to
Yeah,
see if that's
yeah.
gonna,
If she
maybe,
would want to do something,
correct,
that's a great idea.
yeah.
Okay. Everything else I'm gonna keep as long as everyone else is good with that because it was all easy and
Yeah, I'd be okay with getting rid of the photo booth. I mean,
Okay.
it was, I'm looking at what it cost. It was $900. So, and we spend over $2,000 just on the kids' stuff.
Yep.
So that's a big part of it. And I'm sure the cost of everything will go up this year anyways. But yeah,
What should we spend on the bounce house?
it was about $260. I would have to imagine they gave us a deal on that too. That's pretty cheap. So,
that
I,
was Liz and Richie Phase for
Yeah.
all of you watching.
there
yeah, great.
is, I don't know if she'd be willing to, but this year we're doing our bounce for the park. One of we're doing a kids' night for music in the park. And Angie, our the president, she bought the bounce house, and I don't know how big it is, but it's like a big one. I don't know if she'd if she'd be willing to let us use it or not, but
when I ask her,
yeah.
Talk to her,
I will.
yeah. I would say Angie's good to work with. I
Yeah,
think so.
she is.
Okay. All right, 650, rest of it's just committee chairs. Does anybody have anything for the good of the group? You guys have anything?
I do have one question. Are we raising money for the 5K? Are we doing that towards anything or this
No,
year or
we
no?
need to pick a.
I don't know if it should just go back into the general Heritage Fest fund at this point. It's not like we made.
No, we didn't.
I mean, and granted, it will be much bigger this year, and we're adding races because people asked us to, and people have much more notice. But let's think about that.
Yeah.
Let me know
Okay.
what we
I
would
would
like
say
to
if
do.
we split the side by side with Lions, I say have that go back to us only because It's just more, last year we did well and we put that back into cement benches and everything. Whatever goes back to us now just goes back into the town.
The other thing we need to talk about is the koozie cover charge. If we're having the businesses run, or a business run the entertainment tent, are we still,
Didn't we say our thought was let the Lions run that and collect the proceeds on that as well?
So that would be up to whatever, who's ever doing
correct,
the
but
tent.
the business who I think would like to do it the first year is also going to ask for the Lions' help running it because it's the first year, so they're gonna split the profits.
Oh, so they're
with
going to
them
donate to,
potentially
okay.
anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
well
gonna say,
then
I thought that
maybe we
cost,
do it.
I was gonna say, I thought the
So
cost
are
offset was.
we, I just wanna know if cover charge is something we're looking into, because I think last year we kind of decided at the last second, and I was like holding my breath that the stuff would come in on time, so I just wanna make sure.
I
We should be
say,
doing it.
yeah, I
We were
think,
told we should be doing it by the
Yeah,
bands
I
even.
think we should. It just depends on who, what, where, when. I think that'll, a lot of that will come off of your meeting with the restaurants for the tent.
Okay.
I would agree though. I mean, that's, the nice part is it also controls the numbers coming to the bands.
And we keep better track too.
Correct. Yeah. By doing that, we do know
How many
our
people actually came in?
came, right?
Yeah.
Because I think
Kinda
Family
nice to know.
Tradition was, what, 600, and I think the other one was 4 something.
Yeah, we had a ton of people. The only thing I will say is that that's gonna have to be 100% in whoever's running the beer tents charge, because last year Holly and I were selling koozies and golf cart raffle
Right.
tickets, and it was
Yeah.
2 of the longest
It
days
was
of
a
my
lot.
life.
Right. Yeah, we can't do that. We're spread thin as it is.
Yes. And we all need to
We'll have
get
be
to
there at
enjoy
like
part of it
4
too.
a.m. on Saturdays.
Yes.
Um,
And Sunday.
And
Other-
Sunday.
Other than that, I think we're good. We can adjourn, take a break for a minute before we start the 7, unless anybody has anything else. Steve, welcome.
Hi, Steve.
You showed up at the right time. You know how much stuff we volunteered you for?
Everything. Steve, you're running Heritage
He's running the
Festival.
10K
Yeah.
Yeah, you're running it and running it.
and running it.
I do run a weekend as long as you make it conditional upon me dropping 20 years off my age.
Deal.
If we could do
Sold.
it, we would.
Daryl.
Okay,
All right. So we're 6:54 during this. Thanks for showing up, guys.
thank you.
We'll take a look at all that. What's wrong? Oh.
And I need motion.
Anybody want to look? Here's her 5K
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Like I said, I looked at it earlier.